Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 18th of June, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. We notice a little bit more red on the screen this morning. Markets just generally off a little bit, but we're seeing the dollar is holding its short-term strength at the moment, medium-term bearish still, and long-term just holding that long-term bull trend. And that means the euro, conversely, is still in a long-term bear trend, but short-term bearish, medium-term bullish. So a very mixed picture. We are seeing targets of between 1.5–2% lower from here. So still, and lots of big downside targets still hanging over us long term. The yen below the 1.7 level against the dollar, so we're seeing yen strengthening, dollar weakening, and sterling sitting above that 125 level, but just turning into bearish territory there against the dollar. And against the euro, much the same picture, down about 1/3%. Awaiting announcements from the Bank of England today, so the market's just a little bit jittery on sterling, and we're 118.80 against the Swiss franc, and against the Aussie dollar 182. So we see sterling's decline here against the Aussie dollar has been quite marked over the last few months. The Aussie dollar being more the risk-on trade again. Bitcoin sitting at 9,400, just can't break out, and we're looking at the S&P 500 index. It was down slightly overnight, just feeling the effect of being in a short-term bear trend on that lagging line, so just a little bit lower. We've got downside targets now and an upside target that was met. Really interesting there, actually. If we look at that, the upside target in this little mini rally met. We've got a downside target. If we go lower, then we're coming back to the bottom. So we're just seesawing in this range at the moment, and that's just having a little bit of an impact technically on the market. We look at the NASDAQ 100. We're sitting still in our nice steady uptrend here on the recovery, and of course making new highs for the NASDAQ, so looking much better for tech. The Dow down 0.2% overnight, so just looking weaker there. The futures down 0.3% this morning on the S&P and 0.1% on the NASDAQ, so no real change there on the tech, but we might see the market just opening a little bit lower across the board in the US. FTSE we're seeing down 0.5% on the future this morning, and the mid caps down 0.7%, and the DAX down 0.1%. So we are just seeing markets a bit subdued this morning. CAC Current down heavier, down nearly 2/3%. Japan was down 0.3%, and the Hang Seng down by a similar amount. So we're just seeing this markets just gradually selling off here. The Shanghai Composite was up very slightly, but still in a long-term downtrend. And India actually had a stronger showing, up 0.9%. The Aussie market down nearly 1%, having really had a strong performance bounce back lately, so we're not surprised to see that. And if we look at gold, gold is sitting at $1,727, so just nudging higher, still bullish on all three time frames, and back into that bull trend on the short-term chart. US 10-year yield sitting at 0.71%, so we are just seeing interest rates very much around this level, flat on the yield. Looking at the energy markets, we've got Brent crude down 0.2%, and we see here that WTI is down 0.6%. So at the moment, Brent is holding that $40 mark, so that is quite key, but just struggling to break to new highs here, so maybe this trend is just running out of steam a little bit. US NatGas sitting at 164, so looking better there as well. And if we look at coal steady at $53.80. Emissions recovering this morning, up 1%, just pushing higher. We did sort of fall back a little bit yesterday, just holding on to that bull trend, so still looking pretty good for a breakout. And 24 euros is where we expect to see emissions. US NBP, UK gas looking stronger in its recovery. TTF still needs to break that €6 mark, so not so strong there. And German power looking better and better for a recovery, really. We're seeing here, if we look at the chart there for German power, we're seeing that real basing pattern, and we're just starting to come above on the lagging line, so looking better there. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.